What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here, AQUA Life Baby, you already know. Now, as requested, here's my Thavas Aquaforce Stride deck post Aquaforce Clan Booster. Now, as you guys know, Thavas has been my main deck since the G Aquaforce Trial decks released earlier this year, and I have used this deck in the majority of tournaments that I have been involved in. And I have had a great amount of success with this deck, including me winning the DMV Dynasty Cup for Vanguard earlier this summer, as well as me top 8ing the most recent DMV Dynasty Cup for Vanguard a few months ago. Now, let me be frank, guys. This is the deck that I am the most comfortable with currently, and yes, it is still my main deck. I am still getting experience in with blue waves and ripples as far as, build and play testing go. So for right now, guys, this is my main deck currently. Now, I want to be put on the record for saying this. The Thavas deck has the absolute best defense against field control and field destruction of all Aquaforce decks in history, as well as the best field control of all Aquaforce decks in history. I will explain why throughout the deck profile. But I will also say that this deck, guys, in addition, has great synergy with rear guards playing off of the Thavas stride break abilities. This deck still has a high level of explosive plays, as well as great recovery against field destruction and field control. And this deck, guys, since the release of the Clan Booster, has been heavily overshadowed by Ripples. I mean, a lot of decks are heavily overshadowed by Ripples. Ripples with their grade 2 game, how they were terrorizing the Japanese format, and how, I guess ARG Las Vegas, I saw that a lot of players were playing Ripples there too, and even Tetra Boil. But I think this deck gets heavily overshadowed. But, when set 5 comes around, I think a lot of people who picked up Aquaforce or whatever are going to be turning their heads to this deck, especially when Chaos Breaker re-enters the metagame. This deck will definitely show you guys why it has the best defense against field control, and I really think that a lot of people are going to be turning to this deck when set 5 releases, especially if Chaos Breaker is heavily played, where they're playing. But you guys came for a deck profile, so let's get started. Alright, guys, so my starting Vanguard is Kelpie Rider Mitros. Now, I love this starter, and I do like Andre as well, but I like the synergy and I like the combo plays that this card brings. So what he does is, when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Thavas in his name attacks, at Generation Break 1, wave 3rd time or more, you get to throw him into the soul, superior call a Thavas grade 3 from your deck to the rearguard circle, and then at the end of the turn, you bounce that Thavas that you brought out with his effect back to your hand. So, guys, this card, why I like him over Andre, brings a lot of heavy combo potential, as well as he's free in helping you get guaranteeing you the 4th battle. I have a lot of I have some combo videos that I did that I saved up a bit that will release soon that show you guys a lot of the combos that you can do with him, making really good short field combos that enable the 4th battle. He enables Thavas' stride break ability. He is a very, very, very good starter. And so in those short field combo videos, I will show you a lot of plays that this card can make for you guys. Not only helps you clean up your field, but also helps you guarantee a stride for next turn, or a rear guard, whatever the case may be. But he's a very, very good card, and I will show you guys more on him. I'm running 4 heal triggers. Always gotta have your heal triggers. Now, for right now, guys, I'm experimenting with something, but I am running 5 copies of 5 draw triggers and 7 crit triggers. The reason why I'm running 5 and 7 for right now is I wanted to try out a different balance of, defense with drawing and, aggressiveness with critting. Now, it's just something I usually play 8 crit and 4 draw, but I want to try that balance out, especially with people playing the grade 2 game and have a little added defense with draw triggers, in your Ripple matchup, obviously just increasing the chance that you do hit them. Now, we got a new crit trigger, for Thavas. This is what I would call his persona crit. I'm a big persona fan, so I just call it persona crit because it involves his name. So what it is when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Thavas in his card name attacks, you throw it into the soul, and your Vanguard gets 5k, and you draw a card. Simple, right? You guys know these persona crits do. But this card definitely has a lot of really good combo potential in the deck, and this deck also builds soul really fast, really good too. And so Orthea, High Tide Snipers, Adelaides and stuff just become that much more potent because of all the soul building that can go on in this deck. And obviously we have our Supersonic Sailors, because Supersonic Sailor unflips damage. The deck is a little bit more counterblast heavy now, so a little bit more of aggressive use for a Supersonic Sailor for bigger explosive plays might be required in some situations, but still the best crit trigger to run next to Petros. But usually I run 8 and 4, but for right now I'm trying out 7 and 5. All right, on to grade 1. All right, guys, so for grade 1, still running the G Perfect Guards. Again, guys, the deck is a little bit more counterblast heavy, so I do like to have my unflipped, especially since I don't like to take damage and I do defend myself a bit. I like the G Perfect Guards. Now, again, if you guys have a lot of Dimension Police in your meta, if you guys have a lot of the cross and they're attacking your rear guards with their abilities, then definitely switch to the non-G Perfect Guards. But I really feel like when you're choosing your Perfect Guards, it's more of a meta call than anything else. 4 Stride Neighbors, because this deck is obviously a Stride-focused deck. And I'm still playing 3 copies of Orthea and 2 copies of Stacia. Orthea has just become one of my favorite cards, in the deck. She makes a whole lot of really good plays, especially on a Lambros turn when she's boosting a Tidal Assault, allowing Tidal Assault to attack 3 times. She can, her boosting Adelaide to have Adelaide attack 3 times on a Lambros turn. Obviously, those are hypothetical situations if it happens, but I have done it plenty of times where just having her on the board and her having resist and making anything in front of her a Tidal Assault so she enables the 4th battle is just a really big plus in my playbook, and I really enjoy using her. She's actually won me a lot of games from her skill, and I am extremely happy that I decided to play her at 3 copies. Now, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Stacia too. That free 9k from the back row is still definitely one of the most useful skills ever for Aquaforce. As you guys saw in Maelstrom, a very good card in that deck. But in the Thavas deck, for right now, in the Thavas deck, guys, I needed to play more Ortheas, because Orthea just makes plays. She has become a playmaker, but Stacia still does make plays. It's just that there's a lot of field control in my meta, a lot of Kagero, Narukami, Gear Chronicle. Since Gear Chronicle trials come out, a lot of people are picking up Gear Chronicles again. So a lot of that pinpoint spinning and retiring is going on, and Orthea just provides the perfect defense against that. So getting her onto the board early and often is very key for me. All right, on to grade 2. All right, guys. Now for grade 2, we gotta get the staples. We gotta get our quarterback and running back out of the way. Quarterback and coach. Tidal Assault, obviously he's a 4 of in the deck. I'm not playing any less than 4 Tidal Assaults. He is just too good of a rear guard. He makes so many plays, and Orthea has just become his new best friend. Orthea just become Tidal Assault's new best friend, and I'm really liking the combo potential that he brings with her, as well as other cards. Obviously, for Magnum Assault, again, another one of my highest paid playmakers. Just a staple in the deck. Reaches the 4th battle, Generation Break 1 after you boost it, after attacks opponent's Vanguard, restand, and plus 2k, so he becomes an 11k. He's just an amazing card and definitely a mainstay at 4. Still running 2 copies of Saberflow Sailor. Now, I will tell you guys, this area of the deck is definitely changeable. I choose to continue to run 2 copies of Saberflow Sailor because she plays very well off of Thavas' Stride Break ability, because even if she doesn't hit, I'm still killing a card on my opponent's side of the field due to Thavas' Stride Break ability, as well as being able to get her off the field and draw 2 cards, adding cards to my hand. So if I had a pretty dull drive check, those extra 2 cards, I can't tell you how many times that those extra 2 cards have drawn a perfect guard for me, or have drawn some triggers for me that I can use to block going into the next turn. She's a very, very clutch card, and she's definitely for right now a mainstay at 2 in my deck. And then I am actually running the new card that we got in the set, Battle Siren Adelaide. She is Thavas. She's Thavas's she's Thavas's grade 2 Glimmer Breath clone. So what she does is when you call her to the rearguard circle at Generation Break 1, you Soul Blast 1 and Counter Blast 1. She gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn, and the ability that when she attacks an opponent's Vanguard at the end of that battle, you can restand her. A lot of people don't like her because after the turn that you do use her, she she becomes a 9K vanilla, and that is true. In Aqua Force, I like all of my rear guards to do something, but the reason why I do like her is, one, she does enable the 4th battle. You can I'm going to be trying to switch between her and High Tie Sniper, but she has a lot of combo potential that, like I said, I like her at 2. I don't like her at more than 2 because because of that fact that she becomes 9K after you do use her, but she helps enable the 4th battle. She has very high combo potential with Orthea and other cards in the deck, as well as being able to swipe at to attack a rear guard for 11K, and then when you restand her with Lambros, they have to deal with 2 minimum 21K swings with her. But she's mostly there just for some really good explosion plays. I like to call her out when I'm trying to explode on my opponent and get a live advantage or go for game. I've yet to been in a situation where I use her because I need to hit 4 battles. Well, I haven't been in a situation where I needed to hit 4 battles, excuse me. I have been in that situation where I had to use her skill to restand twice. But, she's been a very, very good and consistent card for me, guys. And I'm actually really liking her in the deck. Now, you can play High Tide Sniper. You can play, some of the new stuff that we haven't said, and I'm still testing around with some of those cards. But for right now, Adelaide I've definitely taken a real liking to Adelaide and the explosive combo potential she has brought me so far. All right, on to grade 3. And one more little tidbit. Sometimes, guys, I know this card becomes vanilla at the end of the turn, but sometimes, guys, you just have to time her right. Just because you have a card in your hand and it has an ability doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you have to always use it, that you have to use it right then and there. You don't have to use her as, when on your first stride to do certain things. You can do other plays, if they are available to you. Sometimes you can save her for other plays. You can save her like after you do like a tempo turn, not really an explosive turn, but a good value turn. You can use her afterwards when you're going to explode on your opponent. That's generally how I like to use her. I like to use her when I can put my opponent in a corner, or when I'm going for the throat. So you don't always have to use the ability when you have it in your hand. You can save it, do other plays and save it for a later turn. Especially when you bait out your opponent to attack your magnums and your titles, you're like, sure, you can kill that off, but then I can call my Adelaide because I'm going for a bigger explosion turn. So things like that. That's pretty much how I see her in the deck. Not as a main 4th battle enabler, but as one of those combo potential cards that I use sparingly when I'm in certain situations. All right, on to grade 3. All right, guys. So for grade 3. Let me show you guys my favorite backup Vanguard right now. Skiros. I need to get SPs of Skiros because it's like $6. Skiros, guys. I know my boy Clinton, you guys saw in the crew, the ugly one. He hates this card because he keeps pulling. But this guy is probably one of the best backup grade 3s I've ever seen. So what he does is at Generation Break 1, all units in your front row get the continuous Vanguard rear guard circle resist ability. He gives your entire front row resist. Your opponent cannot touch your front row with abilities that target. It is such an amazing card. This guy provides you an alternate ride to Thavas. If you guys are going up against, like I said, set 5, when Chaos Breaker comes out, I'm going to look to be riding this card, because when I'm able to stride, I can go into this card and my opponent cannot pinpoint lock my front row. Obviously, they can call things out from my hand with Chaos Universe, and I'm going to be doing some videos on that, you know, when the time comes. But this guy definitely provides a defense against that. You know, he stops Gear Chronicles from spinning your magnums and tiles in front, forcing them to attack your rear guards with columns, giving you the chance to defend them. Or bait them. You know, he's just a great card. And then on ride, you give your rear guard the skill that on the third battle of the turn or more, when it attacks an opponent's Vanguard, you get to look at the top 5 cards and search for a grade 3 and add it to your hand. So he also gives your rear guard, actually he gives any unit the ability. Choose one of your units. Yes, so he can give your Vanguard the ability or your rear guard the ability. The ability to, when it attacks in the third battle of the turn or more, to search for a grade 3. Very, very good. So if you guys are missing Thavas and you do ride him, make sure that you recognize this skill, and you can put yourself in a really good position with this skill. Other than that, he's really just there for his resistibility. And you know, when I get to the stride zone, I will show you guys, why this card works, even if you ride him over Thavas with all these, Thavas persona cards in the deck. But for the main card, no, I didn't pull an SP, but rarity is rarity. The card does the exact same thing as the SP, so it's whatever. But 4 copies of Thavas, the main Vanguard of the deck, the leader of the deck. This guy is this is my right hand man right here, guys. Thavas, GB2, when he attacks an opponent, when he attacks an opponent's Vanguard with GB2, he gains an extra crit, and your opponent cannot use grade 0s to guard him, so he becomes a Silent Tom. As well as, excuse me, I was just looking at something in my hand. And then his stride break ability on the 4th battle of the turn, when your unit attacks any unit on the field, choose three of your opponent's rear guards. They choose one to retire it. Very, very good card. Like I said, cards like cards like Saberflow Sailor and whatnot definitely play really well off of his ability. And Mitros definitely activates his ability on that 3rd battle. Such an amazing start, such an amazing Vanguard, guys. Definitely a good card. But Skiros is a great backup Vanguard, a great alternate ride to look for in those type of matchups. Like when I play Gear Chronicles, when I play Gear Chronicles, when I play Kagero, sometimes Kagero, because Kagero, is kind of different. It's kind of a chess game, but Gear Chronicle, Narukami, non-brawler or Narukami sometimes. Even against Nova grapplers, with Vic Tribute, Skiros just definitely comes in handy and makes a lot of plays. All right, on the stride deck. All right, guys. So for the stride deck, I run 1 title board. Now I am considering taking him out, because I do like his on-hit effect and +1, but I'm thinking about taking him out for the next card. Because remember, when if he hits on the 3rd battle of the turn or more, if he hits an opponent's Vanguard, you get to draw a card, then choose up to 1 and call it out. But we're running 1 copy of Marine General of the Heavenly Silk, Aristotle, who you guys know I reference as General Akinu, from One Piece, the guy that killed Ace. I'm thinking about running 2 copies of him. This is just all these sneak peek ones. I'm thinking about running 2 copies of him. He is the card that I have been waiting for, guys. So what he does is on the 3rd battle or more, when you attack with him and the opponent's Vanguard, you counterblast 1, kill any unit on their field. If I was able to have access to him during the Dynasty Cup, I definitely would have had a better time in my Dimension Police matchup, because I would have been able to guarantee myself killing off that Laurel that was on his his field both games, which is why I'm considering moving him to 2 copies, because for 1 counterblast, I get to pinpoint. Now, why is that important? Because that plays with Thavas' stride break ability, where you stride him, you can kill 1. Thavas' ability activates on the 4th battle. You have your opponent is forced to kill another one of their units. So this turn alone kills off 2 of your opponent's units, which is why I said it has the best field control, because this guy allows you to combo with him to retire 2 cards per turn that you do stride him, as long as you have a counterblast available. Very, very, very good card. And like I said, I am considering running 2 of him, but the reason why I'm running Tile Boy is because sometimes our opponent has only 1 card on the field, and Tile Boy is just a better card in that situation, because it's like, well, I'm going to retire with Thavas' ability anyways, so I'd rather just have something that will hit, and I get to draw a card, force some pressure on my opponent that way. But it's definitely a way that there's definitely a way you can change it up. So I would definitely always recommend at least running 1 copy in your decks, if not 2. Next, we have 2 copies of Storm Dominator Commander Thavas, the Generation Rare Thavas's Persona Stride. Very, very good card. He doesn't require a Thavas Heart, which is very good, which is amazing. So what he does is act once per turn. You just, Persona G flip, choose one of your rear guards. It gets 5,000 power until the end of turn, and the ability that it can attack from the back row. So it gives them part of Stasia's ability, as well as giving it 5k. So it allows you to protect your cards by putting it in the back row. So another reason that he's good is because you can stride him over Skiros. You have a commander, then you'll have a Thavas Vanguard, which lets you activate Mitros' ability, Adelaide's ability, and the crit triggers ability and things like that. So it's definitely a good card in that respect as well. But he's a good first stride card, and his GB3 skill is the same as Thavas' stride break. When your unit attacks on the 4th battle of the turn, you get to choose 3 of your opponent's units. They choose 1 to retire. And yes, he does combo with Thavas to retire 2 units. You do 1 first, you choose 3, they choose 1 to retire. Thavas' ability, choose another number of units, and then they have to choose 1 of them and retire. So again, this deck has a lot of synergy in retiring our opponent's rear guards. Very, very, very good card, and also a good first stride card too, to get you to GB2 if you're not if you're not able to stride, if you're not guaranteed to stride next turn, or if these 2 plays just aren't optimal in certain situations, especially if you're on Skiros. This is great to get your start. This is a great stride to go into to get your starter off and whatnot. And then last but not least, your beast. Like I always say, guys, feed your beast the win condition. My favorite stride. Marine General of the Heavenly Silk Lambros. 4th battle, when it attacks, 4th battle or more when it attacks, choose 2 of your units, restand them, and if you have 2 more copies face up, you get to give them 10,000 power. Tell me that that's not a great skill. Tell me that's not a great skill. Tell me why Lambros is not good. If you can find a reason why Lambros is not good, please let me know. And please have a defense, because I will counter that. But this guy is amazing. He wins me pretty much all the games in my Thavas deck. He wins me pretty much all the games, except for a few when I've had when I've had to use Thavas' stride break ability. But guys, this is your beast. Feed him. He's hungry. He's hungry. Now, I want you to remember this, guys. You don't always have to go into Lambros as your second stride. You don't. If your opponent's sitting at 2 damage, whatnot, and it's a really defensive matchup at the start, you don't need to go into Lambros and do that, because they have a lot more damage to give, means that they have a lot more counterblast. And a lot of your opponents expect you to go into Lambros your second strike, so they might hold cards in their hand back. But that's when you go into your tempo turns, and we're going to do a video on that too. When you go into other things, you have other cards. When you go into other things, force out the shield that they weren't trying to give up and saving for Lambros, and then, time your Lambros turns for later in the game. But we're going to talk about that much later. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a long deck profile, but I wanted to get out a lot of this information to you guys on, you know, my thoughts and, you know, my analysis of the different cards in the deck and how I use them. I like to pack my deck profiles full of information so that you guys can learn from my eyes how I see these cards and, you know, the situations and whatnot I use them in. I know it's long, and I hope you guys stay with it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what deck you guys want to see next. You have Ripples and you have Tetra Boil. Let me know. All right, Cardfight King, and I'm out. Peace.